Good morning. Today I am at the first Kunming International Flower Exhibition Hall, one of the 10 activities of the week-long event this year in Kunming, China, for the first Kunming International Flower Festival. Last year, in 1999, Kunming, which is the capital of Yunnan Province in southwestern China, held and hosted the 1999 International Horticulture Exposition. This drew the attention of more than 10 million visitors to the city last year over a period of 6 months. This year, a very exciting event had been planned on the heels of the reputation that Kunming has acquired both in China and internationally as the flower capital of China. Behind me, we can see the entrance of the exhibitors' hall. At the exhibitors' hall, we have representatives from Holland, from Myanmar, from France, from Germany, from many different foreign companies throughout the world, in addition to companies from China. Predominantly, there are many new Chinese companies exhibiting their floral products. In the year 2000, this marks a 5-year history of flower exhibitions in Kunming. In 1995, the Dutch came surprising many local growers of quality in flower production. Today, 5 years later, lots of the quality that we will see later in roses, chrysanthemums, carnations are now locally produced by Chinese themselves. Companies have improved their quality, companies have expanded their production, and China is quickly becoming a capital of flower production in the world.
Madam Jiang Zehui, Honorary Chairwoman of Organizing Committee of the China Kunming International Flower Festival and President of the China Flower Association.
中国昆明国际花卉节组委会名誉主任，中共云南省委书记林虎安。
His Excellency Mr. Lin Huan, Honorary Chairman of Organizing Committee of the China Kunming International Flower Festival and the Secretary of the Yunnan Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China.
中国昆明国际花卉节组委会主任，云南省省长李家庭。
His Excellency Mr. Li Jiating, Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the China Kunming International Flower Festival and the Governor of Yunnan Province.
中国昆明国际花卉节组委会副主任，昆明市代市长张正国。
Mr. Zhang Zhengguo, Vice Chairman of Organizing Committee of the China Kunming International Flower Festival and the Acting Mayor of Kunming City.
今天，由中国花卉协会和云南省人民政府共同主办的中国昆明国际花卉节，在繁花似锦、四季如春的春城昆明开幕了。
Today, the China Kunming International Flower Festival, co-sponsored by the China Flower Association and the People's Government of Yunnan Province, opens in Kunming, a picturesque city of eternal spring.
尊敬的王刚英副院长、周铁龙副主席、李夫人先生们。
Respected Vice Chairman Wang Guangying and Zhou Tianhong, ladies and gentlemen.
由中国花卉协会和云南省人民政府共同举办的中国昆明国际花卉节，今天隆重开幕了。这是继去年世界园艺博览会之后，又一次国际性的花市盛会。
The China Kunming International Flower Festival, co-sponsored by the China Flower Association and the People's Government of Yunnan Province, solemnly opens today. It is another great international horticultural event following the success of the 1999 China Kunming International Horticultural Exposition.
在此，我谨代表国家林局和中国花卉协会，对花卉节的顺利开幕表示热烈的祝贺。
On this occasion, on behalf of the National Forestry Bureau and the China Flower Association, I would like to extend my warm congratulations on the opening of the China Kunming International Flower Festival.
And this is the start to the China Kunming International Floral Festival. Yunnan, located in southwest China, is widely reputed as the kingdom of plants and a natural flower hub. The province is an important botanical gene bank of China or even the world, with a reserve of 18,000 species of higher plants, accounting for 63% of the whole country in this regard. Of 2,500 kinds of gardening plants and 1,500 kinds of floral plants. With these figures, the province tops other provinces in China. Its abundant plant resources, unique climate conditions and biological diversity form the unique and superior conditions for the province development in terms of flower industry. With the implementation of the province industry restructuring policies and the strong support from the Provincial Communist Committee and the provincial government, the flower production has been established as a key industry for the development of the province. The flower production in the province started from the undisciplined growing by individual farmers and has developed into an industry today, which has turned Yunnan into the largest province in terms of cut flower productions. Starting from 1994, Yunnan has been #1 in China regarding flower production volume. In 1999, the total flower production of the province increased to 1.12 billion stems. Its flower products takes 50% of the domestic market of China. With years of effort and hard work, the floral industry of Yunnan has witnessed great development. Its flower growing area and cut flower output volume are growing year by year. All these form the sound basis for the long-term development of the industry. The implementation of the West China Development Strategy of the central government and the strategy of Yunnan for developing a strong province in terms of green economy has created precious opportunities for the development of Yunnan's floral industry. Based upon the repeated assessment and researches, the Provincial Communist Party Committee and the provincial government has clarified the strategy and goals of the floral industry, the development of Yunnan, that is, to build Yunnan into China or even Asia's biggest flower expo, base and flower trade center, by taking the full advantage of resources basing upon the industry current development, incorporating market orientation, focusing on the achievement of economic benefits, using science and technology as its foundation, taking flower varieties, quality and market as its priority, building export flower production base, technological supporting system and marketing system at its core, sticking to the business model of private ownership and private operation, intensifying policy and financial support and adopting the market-oriented, professional, high-tech, multi-channel and joint stock ownership development road. The purpose of organizing China Kunming International Floral Festival is firstly to further define the position of the floral industry, emphasizing its role in the social and economic development of Yunnan. Secondly, enhance the overall level of floral industry in Yunnan and promote exchanges in terms of floral varieties, technology and marketing. And finally, increasing the popularity of Yunnan flowers. And thirdly, promote the construction of the urban environment in Kunming and enhance the quality of Kunming people. And fourthly, promote the tourism development and the development of the tertiary industry of Yunnan. And so you see, a lot of effort has been made to make this first Kunming Flower Expo a success. And you can see this for yourself.
街舞中，友谊的常青藤迎来四海朋友。
夏是和平的颂歌，夏是激情的美酒。心贴心，手挽手，用美丽的鲜花共同装扮我们的星球。 四季都是春。
Besides the Kunming International Flower Festival, there was also the opening of the flower exhibition. Let's have a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the opening ceremony of the Kunming International Flower Exhibition of the China Kunming International Flower Festival now begins.
我宣布，昆明国际花卉展开幕。
I now declare open the China Kunming International Flower Exhibition.
昆明国际花卉展开幕式结束，请各位来宾进场参观。
That's the end of the opening ceremony of Kunming International Flower Exhibition. You're welcome to see the exhibitions.
经常
This is Fred Etzig, the Managing Director of the Dutch Wholesalers Organization in the Netherlands and the Flower Council. I will ask him a few questions. About his impression of Chinese flower growers and their flower quality today in Kunming, China. Mr. Etzig, now that you have been visiting the International Flower Festival in Kunming, and you have had a chance to see some of the local production of Kunming growers.
I have, yes.
What do you think of the potential for short-term and long-term opportunities for flower exports from China to international markets such as the Netherlands?
I think short-term the international markets will be limited to, I think, Japan, because the distance is very big, and then you should have outstanding materials and outstanding quality to succeed. I think the quality is very good here. Of course, you're very fortunate because you have an excellent climate here for flowers. It's always spring, I heard, so that's good. But I also heard that in winter there are some very severe nights, even with frost. And I think the majority of the growers have no heating at night. So I think if you want to be a good continuous exporter, you need heating at least. And the other thing you need near the airport and some vital logistic places is cooling. You need cooling as well for the quality of the products. That's very important.
Now, I understand that the government in China, including the local government of Yunnan province and the central government in Beijing, have been very enthusiastic about developing this area, Kunming, in China for flower production. However, with the heating requirements that you feel would be necessary, do you think it would be wiser to move production further south where it's warmer, or do you think the flower growers could be competitive even if they pay additional money for heating?
I think they do because they have two very important advantages. The climate and the soil. It's very how do you say it in English? Fertile. Is that the word? Yes. And the other thing is labor costs are extremely low here. If you compare that with Holland, I think if you compare that with Holland and you send good quality products to the Netherlands, it's absolutely worthwhile. You can see it, for example, in countries like Kenya and Zimbabwe. They send a lot of roses to the Netherlands, and they do some heating every now and then, and their distance is long as well.
Another question I have, you have been seeing the flowers now on exhibit. Most of the growers are producing roses, carnations, chrysanthemums, major flower crops. For Kunming to become a successful international market, do you think it is essential that they begin to diversify their product mix into some of the minor crops, or do you think they could maintain a strong position with only major crop production?
I think, especially for the first 5 years, for sure, they should stick to those main crops. And as they get more and more experience in research and things like that, I think they can go to other minor crops. You can see it in the Netherlands. We give the production of the main crops, so for example, roses goes to Africa, goes to Asia, and we stick to the more difficult crops, I think. And that's a good division. The moment you become more and more mature, you can do it as well. But I think the first 5 years, not yet.
Now, there are also major flower producers in Colombia, South America, Ecuador, as well as Kenya and South Africa. What do you think would be the advantages of Chinese flower growers over those two major areas? Because there is a lot of land to develop and many farmers who could become excellent flower growers in China. What would be their advantage, and what kind of niche do you see that they could find a position for themselves in this global flower market compared to flower growers in Africa, flower growers in South America?
I think flower growers in South America, you know that I think as well, that the majority has contracts with close links and close contacts with the United States of America. And Africa, I think, is, well, the development of the local people over there is less than the Chinese people, I think. So I think because the Chinese people have a lot of intelligence and a lot of people who can work. I think there's a big market, and I said in my speech it was I believe yesterday, I believe within 15 years the consumers ask maybe double or treble compared with today. So there is a lot of flowers to be sold in the future.
Oh, you mean you think production will be necessary to increase to meet consumer demand?
Absolutely.
Do you think this demand?
Sorry to interrupt you, but you see it in Europe now. It started as buying flowers for a present or for a special occasion, a marriage, a funeral, a wedding, everything. And now you see that people buy it every week or every 2 weeks to make it cozy in the houses. Things like that happen in Germany as well. Germany is 50% of our export. So if things like that happen all over the world, well, the production could treble.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Etzig. We appreciate the time you've been able to give us for your ideas and viewpoints on this subject.
Okay, my pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you. Flora Seed and Sprout Company Limited is an important flower company in Kunming, China. Locally and in Chinese, they are known as Qianhui Flower Company. This flower company has specialized in producing flower crops from bulbs. They have played a significant role in developing the Kunming flower industry. A number of years ago, they came to Kunming and set up operation with the intention to introduce flower crops produced by bulbs. Lilies have become one of the major flower crops produced in Kunming. It is a relatively high-value crop compared to carnations and roses. Bulbs are expensive. However, the price yielded for cut flower lilies in Kunming and in China is significantly high. Qianhui Flower Company has done a lot of work to introduce bulb production into this region of China. Lilies are a very popular crop now for weddings and traditional holiday displays.
Show.